Yesterday, the Taoiseach apologised to women and their families who were affected by the operation of the cervical screening, and I certainly welcome that apology, and it was welcomed by those who were most affected. But those words need to be followed up by action, and we also saw yesterday that another very seriously ill woman is being dragged through the courts. Now, I know that the state has to fight different claims, but he promised before that these women wouldn't be dragged through the courts. And I would ask it to stop, and to stop immediately, and for him to fulfil the promises that he made. Because Dr. Scally said there was a complete failure from top to bottom in the cervical screening programme, and that some of the women and their relatives were treated appallingly bad. We know, and you know, the state has failed these women, and the outsourcing of these smears has played a role in the scandal. I mean, there has to be collective cabinet responsibility for the decision that was made to outsource the cervical screening in the first place. You know, the name of the person in charge was mentioned earlier, and I suppose what bothers me is that, could it happen now? Could you have a collective cabinet decision again where medical advice, and I think one clinician resigned at the time because he felt so strongly, and he predicted exactly what was going to happen. And the decision that was made around that table was a fatal decision for these women and for their families. So we need to see the additional funding to ensure that the change recommended in the reports are implemented, and the recommendations of both McCrath and the Scally reports are implemented. And that's why I was disappointed that within the budget I felt that prior to this apology that there should have been a specific ring-fenced amount of money for their cervical screening, because we need to have it repatriated. We need to have control. We need to reverse the bad decision that was made. But we cannot let any more women down, like we let Emma Mhic Mhathúna down and Vicky Phelan. We need to ensure women that our screening process is safe and reliable, and that it's fit for purpose. We need to fix it, and we need to fix it fast. And I think the biggest mistake we could make, and sometimes we make this mistake of thinking there's a public apology, there's a state apology, and everything is okay now, things are done, so the doors are closed. We have so far to go in terms of generating confidence in the cervical screening process. And we need to do that, and we need to do that with actions rather than words. But I thank the brave women and their families, Vicky Phelan, Emma Mhic Mhathúna, Irene Teap and his wife Irene, who spoke out and who had the courage and determination to speak for others. And we must not let them down. And we must make sure that the journey that they started, when they spoke out, when they were courageous and they were brave to speak out, that their actions make a difference, and that we make them count.